Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cryptonews weekly roundup. Your hosts here, Zahab and Rachel Wolfson. We are buzzing as always. Consensus week is this week in my city of Toronto and Blockchain Futurist. Shout out Tracy and the Untraceable Events team. It's been an absolute crazy week. We're recording on Thursday. We have one more week tomorrow. And Rachel, I'm missing you. It's not the same without you and Mick. We miss you guys. How is it on the West Coast?
Everything is great here in San Francisco. Really sad not to be at Consensus this week. This is the first Consensus that I'm missing in, I don't know, 5+ years. But yeah, everything is good. And we've got some interesting news to talk about.
Let's jump into it. Another great week across the board, guys. Bitcoin's up 1.5% to 102.6K. Ethereum, the big winner of the week. Rachel, we've been doing this for almost a year. I can't remember the last time ETH ripped like this. Usually it was the other way. It was down 20% every week. Now it is the opposite. Another week of Ethereum being up 21%, currently sitting at 2.5K per ETH. XRP is up 8% as well to $2.42 per coin. Solana's up 5 ticks to 168 and touched 185 earlier this week. Doge, another big gainer of the week, up 15% to 21 cents. Green across the board again. We love to see it. It's another great week. However, we did have some madness this week, but it started off with some positive news, Rachel, right when we finished recording last week's roundup. And the big orange man himself, Donald Trump, reached a trade deal with China, and we got some tariff cuts.
Yeah, so this is exciting news, Matt. Crypto markets rallied sharply on Monday after the US and China announced an agreement to temporarily reduce tariffs on each other's goods, signaling a cooling of trade tensions. The agreement, delivered via a joint statement in Geneva, provides a 90-day window for both countries to negotiate further economic cooperation, according to Bloomberg. According to the deal, the U.S. will lower tariffs on Chinese imports from 145% to 30%, while China will reduce duties on American goods from 125% to 10%. This is great news.
Great news, and all of the markets ripped, not just crypto, but TradFi as well. Guys, as always, we record on Thursday and drop on Friday. And what happened this morning when Rachel and I woke up, there was some crazy news with Coinbase. The crypto exchange said a group of rogue agents were bribed by cyber criminals to copy sensitive data, which was then used in a social engineering campaign to impersonate Coinbase and defraud users. Although no customer funds, passwords, or private keys were accessed, the attackers obtained key personal info, including names, contact details, masked social security and bank account numbers, and in some case, even worse, pictures of government-issued IDs. This is absolute bananas. And Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, said, "We are committed to full transparency, and instead of giving them the $20 million ransom demanded, we're establishing a $20 million reward fund to bring the criminals to justice." Interesting play by Brian and the team. Hopefully we figured this out, but this has to stop in crypto. We're all about decentralization and privacy, and this is the exact opposite. Speaking of Coinbase, we had some shitty Coinbase news that dropped today, but earlier on in the week, we had some great Coinbase news, Rachel.
Yeah, I love to be the bearer of good news. So Coinbase shares jumped more than 10% in after-hours trading on Monday, following confirmation that the exchange will join the S&P 500 index next week. This is huge news. S&P Dow Jones indices said Coinbase will replace Discover Financial Services ahead of trading on May 19th. The milestone comes as Coinbase marks over 3 years since its direct listing on NASDAQ, making it the largest publicly traded pure-play crypto firm. The exchange now boasts a market value of roughly $53 billion.
Yeah, wild, and great to see Coinbase buzzing and back in the S&P 500. Huge news, more stablecoin news. Every week we have stablecoin news. Ramp, one of the largest and US-based corporate card and financial operations platform, announced the expansion of its partnership with financial services company Stripe to launch the industry's first stablecoin-backed corporate cards with fully integrated spend management software. According to a press release, the two companies aim to make cross-border transactions easier and faster compared to the current business solutions that are out there. The card will be available in several countries, starting with certain Latin American countries and eventually expanding to Europe, Asia, and Africa. Great news by two TradFi financial services behemoths opening up the stablecoin borderless transaction economy to the masses. Time to jump into some Bitcoin corporate strategy. This is going crazy. Everyone's getting involved. And the big dog in Tokyo, Metaplanet, just bought another 126 million worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah, more good news. So Tokyo-listed investment firm Metaplanet has significantly expanded its Bitcoin treasury, acquiring an additional 1,241 BTC for approximately 18.4 billion yen, which is equivalent to $126 million. The latest purchase brings the company's total Bitcoin holdings to 6,796 BTC, currently valued at over $706 million. This is according to a disclosure filed on Monday. The aggressive accumulation puts Metaplanet ahead of El Salvador's state-owned Bitcoin treasury, which holds 6,174 BTC, according to data from the nation's Bitcoin office. So everyone is just scooping up Bitcoin while they still can, and I think this is awesome.
Speaking of Bitcoin, can't have a Cryptonews Weekly Roundup without Michael Saylor and Strategy snagging more Bitcoin. What did they do this week? They snagged an additional 13,390 Bitcoin. Absolutely wild stuff, Rachel. And this was for an average price of just under 100K Bitcoin for a total of $1.34 billion. MicroStrategy now holds 568,840 Bitcoin. That is wild to say out loud, for approximately $39.4 billion at an average price of 69.2K per Bitcoin. Crazy, crazy stuff from Saylor. Probably the most bananas piece of news all week was the kidnapping in France. Can't even believe this happened. Mass gang in Paris kidnapping a crypto exec's daughter. Rachel, you got to tell us about this one.
This is crazy news because we're seeing this way too often, especially in Paris. A shocking attempted kidnapping unfolded in central Paris this week when an armed masked men tried to abduct the daughter of a prominent crypto executive and her 2-year-old child in broad daylight, Le Parisien reports. The brazen attack occurred on Rue Pache in the 11th arrondissement when 3 assailants leaped out of a postal delivery van and seized the woman and her young child. The terrifying moment was captured in video footage taken by bystanders and nearby surveillance cameras showing a violent struggle erupting in the streets. According to eyewitnesses, the child's father intervened quickly, fighting off the attackers in a desperate effort to protect his family. Her resistance forced the men to abandon the kidnapping attempt and flee the scene. The gang retreated to the same van, which was later discovered abandoned on a nearby street. This is crazy news, especially with all the crypto events happening in Paris. People really need to be aware.
Yeah, really well said there. Again, shitty news, but we have to cover it. Let's flip the switch and have some more good news here. In my beautiful country of Canada, the crypto world got shaken up for good, and for good reason. Robinhood just acquired WonderFi for $178 million at a 41% premium. Pretty wild stuff here. Everyone knows who Robinhood is, and they acquired WonderFi, which is the largest crypto platform and regulated digital asset platform in Canada. And this was for 250 million CAD or 178 million USD, with over 2.1 billion CAD under assets in custody and a strong portfolio that includes BitBuy, CoinSquare. WonderFi has now positioned itself as one of the key players in crypto's Canada sector, and Robinhood has swiped them up and is coming in hot for everyone else. Pretty crazy stuff here. Moving forward, Pump.Fun back in the news again, this time for good, and they have decided to share 50% of fees with their token creators.
Yeah, Matt. So PumpSwap, the decentralized exchange developed by Solana-based meme coin launchpad Pump.Fun, has introduced a new revenue sharing model that directs 50% of trading fees to token creators. Under the new system, token creators will receive 0.05% of each transaction and SOL for eligible tokens. Given PumpSwap's trading volume of $11.2 billion in April 2025, this payout structure could have yielded roughly $5.6 million in revenue for token creators last month alone. So this is really cool news, especially for creators out there.
Yeah, well said. And last piece of news of the week, Soul Strategies, who we do talk about a good amount on the show, has partnered with Australian blockchain firm DigitalX to offer institutional Solana staking services. The collaboration between the two publicly traded companies indicates a maturing market where transparency, regulation, and performance converge. This is great to see as Solana continues to emerge as a viable Ethereum alternative with one of the best, if not the best, staking ecosystem in all of crypto. And again, this is via Soul Strategies enterprise grade custody and validator integration. Rachel, always a treat doing this with you. Crazy, crazy week. We've had consensus. We've had a couple acquisitions. We've had a kidnapping. We've had a huge hack, but the market is in good shape and the momentum continues to happen. Hopefully everything continues to be good. Guys, if you enjoyed this, and we hope you did, please do subscribe, hammer that like button. It would mean the world to Rachel, myself, and our whole team. To the team, thank you guys. Love you for everything. Back to the listeners, keep on tuning in. We really appreciate it. Have a great weekend, guys, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, Matt. See you next time. Thanks.
See you guys.